Hi there, my name is Dave and I'm from PIDP 3240, which is the Media Enhanced Learning course at Vancouver Community College for the Provincial Instructor Diploma Program. This is my workshop that I did online, live, called 4E's of Mentimeter, where we evaluated Mentimeter as a potential educational tool to use in our careers. For the diversity, equity, and inclusion portion of the actual assignment, there's a QR code from Mentimeter itself, and I actually have a word cloud that people can fill out and letting me know if they have any needs. For example, they have lower eyesight than normal, or if they have a need for captions, etc. And then also the Creative Commons license I have there as well as part of the assignment. I had two promotional flyers. The first one here, I put out about a week and a half, or about a week before the actual session, and then 3 days before the session, I did the second one here, and actually ended up having 3 people after the first flyer, and in the end, I had 7 people actually join the workshop, which was pretty awesome, I thought. But I hope you enjoy the actual presentation, the recorded presentation. Have a great one. Thank you so much. Okay, so I am going to share Mentimeter. Like I said, you can use your phone to watch the entire slides. When you're answering the questions that are interactive, you have to do it on either the phone that you scan the code with, and I'll show you the code in 1 second, or you have to do it with a new tab on your internet browser with the code that's at the top of each page. It'll make more sense once I start sharing. Okay, so I'll start sharing now. So I'm in the Mentimeter already. You guys can see my screen, yes? Perfect. So has anyone used Mentimeter before? Hands up. Nobody? Nobody else? Excellent. That's good. Okay, so how you join a Mentimeter, there's 2 different ways that are the easiest way. If you have your smartphone with you, you just turn your camera on and you'll hover it over top the QR code, and a little pop-up box will show up, and you click on the pop-up box and then it will take you right to the Mentimeter. You don't have to do anything else. Okay. The other option, if you do not have a smartphone with you that has a camera, you can use the voting link at the top of each screen. And what you do is you open a separate tab on the internet, and then you go to menti.com, just menti.com, not Mentimeter, just Menti. And then it'll say join a meeting. It'll have be 3 options. And one of them is join a meeting, and you just type in the code, which is 34738663. What I'm going to ask is that once you get to the Mentimeter, if you just want to use one of the reaction buttons, and I'll see it come up on my presenter screen, like one of the thumbs up. Perfect. See, you guys can see it too. The little plus, the thumbs up button. I've got 2 people that have done it so far. You can either use a heart too, or a little kitty cat, whatever you like. Those are different reactions. And I just want to wait to make sure everyone is ready before we go. Okay, 3 people. Excellent. A heart as well. Excellent. That's 4 of us. How many do we have all together? There's 6, so 1 more person, I think.
Yeah, sorry, it's just Nicole.
Oh, no worries, Nicole.
I'm trying to do it. I have my laptop and my phone, so just give me a sec.
Yeah, no worries. So there is another way to do this, but I didn't want to do it that way because I use my company computer. You can get add-ons that are for Teams, or you can get an add-on for Zoom as well. But everyone has to have the Zoom account if you do it that way, and then they can actually answer the questions right in your Zoom presentation, as opposed to having to have their smartphone with them. And it looks like we just have 1 more person that joined, Dennis. And we'll get everyone up to speed. This code will be displayed on every one of the slides that I have. So if you do get kicked out or anything like that, you can always just join back in as well. But I don't normally get kicked out of this. It's more like Teams. Dennis, are you with us? If you want to come off mute and just say hello, we're just starting. So you're just in time. Are you there, Dennis? I don't see your picture.
I am here. Sorry, I just
Perfect.
couldn't. I just couldn't unmute myself for a second there.
Yeah, no worries. Great. So have you ever used Mentimeter, Dennis? Just hands up as yes or thumbs down as no. Then you
Yes, I have.
Okay, perfect. So you know how to get into the Mentimeter by your camera or by going to another tab. Perfect. I'm going to start moving forwards, but like sign in, please, Dennis, and we'll start getting it going so we don't run out of time here. So while we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we all call home. I'm joining from the border of North Delta and Surrey, the traditional unceded lands of the Tawasin and Semiahmoo peoples, and I want to thank them for their ongoing stewardship and care for the beautiful land that I currently reside on. So I just want everyone just to remind themselves of all that they've done for us, and just think on it on yourself silently and be appreciative. This is the instruction one again. The presentation was built fully in Mentimeter's website, which means you will need to use your smartphone or another tab on your computer. If you're going to join using the computer, open the new browser. Like I mentioned earlier, go to menti.com, not Mentimeter, and then put in the code. Otherwise, you can just hover your smartphone over the QR code, which you've all done perfectly. So that's excellent. So 7 years ago, I was the first trainer hired in Western Canada for a certain organization that you may know. I can't say the name for legal reasons, but it starts with an A and it ends with a Mazon. So you might know what I'm talking about. One day I was delivering forklift theory training, and I looked up and noticed that one of the associates was literally snoring in my classroom. Ridiculous, like sitting there with snoring. But what could you do? The other associates kind of giggled while I gingerly woke their exhausted team member. So can you relate to that? Has that ever happened to you when you've tried to teach anyone, or when you've been in a presentation, you got so bored you fell asleep? Please feel free to answer in Mentimeter by typing in or like writing in a word. Another one is also, why would they fall asleep, do you think? And I have tough skin, so you can say it was because I'm boring. I don't mind. But what do you think made them fall asleep in my theory class? Felt bored, tired, excellent. Partying too hard, that's another one too. It was a Mazon, so they are very, very hard workers as well. I could relate to what happened to him. So honestly, it's a tiring job and they work really hard there. Excellent. You guys have used Menti perfectly. For people that haven't used Menti, Dennis, most of the team here hasn't used Menti. The words will get bigger if the same word is typed by someone else. So if multiple people are using the same word, they'll grow larger on the screen, okay? So that's kind of how word cloud goes. People love word cloud. It's one of the most important or most favorite parts of Mentimeter. They use it often for open-ended questions as well, and reflection. So if you want to think about those when you're actually presenting or teaching people. Time warp 5 years forward. I have since joined a new organization. It's BC Liquor Distribution Branch. I was introduced to Mentimeter there, and I was amazed by its ability to excite and engage learners, especially store managers. They're very competitive people, and you'll learn more about that later. But yeah, so I love that it can actually evaluate what people are doing in real time, and it shows it on the screen. And that gives you feedback as well as the actual teacher for the course. So that's excellent as well. So let's see how Menti rates against the 4E framework of excite, educate, engage, and evaluate through some personal examples and the research I've found about Mentimeter. So Mentimeter and the 4E's. So these are the different interactive. So what makes Mentimeter better than regular old PowerPoint is the interactive questions over here that are on the left of the slide. The interactive ones are all the ones that you're answering in the actual slide right now, and PowerPoint obviously doesn't have that. Using these slides turns a passive lecture into a very active interaction, discussion, or as I like to refer, turns it into Menti time. So it's an excellent thing to use. It's really fun, especially when you get into the competitive quizzes as well. So let's take a look at some of the quotes I found while researching Mentimeter.com, combining them with the personal experience I have and reflecting on Mentimeter on the ratings that I got. So our first E, excite. Mentimeter gets students excited and motivated to attend lectures at the University of Illinois College of Medicine department. This quote came from a feedback survey that the first year medical student returned after using Mentimeter to check for understanding and quiz their peers. The select answer competitive quiz is what the student is referring to in the quote. And it's a really good way to help students understand where they might need more studying time. And also it's good for the level of like recognize and recall when it comes to like the different levels of thinking. So the select answer quiz competition slides build in some competitive spirit to your Menti time as well, which is really fun. And exciting and also motivating, as you can see in the slide. The person would never miss one of the sessions when they knew that Mentimeter was going to be used. So you'll have a chance to participate in a quiz later on, so you get to have that experience as well. So my rating for the excite factor of Mentimeter is 3.3 out of 4.0. So its ability to educate, Mentimeter's ability to educate. I reflected on why the UK students that are in the quote felt that much more satisfied when Mentimeter was used in their sessions, and I identified 3 potential reasons that I'd like to share with you guys. The first one is Menti is a safe space for adult learners because the questions posted are anonymous, and you guys can ask questions at any time. There's the question button there, and I'll answer them at the end on a question slide, just so you know. But that anonymity allows people that may have been afraid to ask questions in the past because they didn't want to be embarrassed or have people think it was a dumb question, will now be able to ask questions. So that is one really, really good part of how it can educate. Questions are being asked that would have never been asked before from people that I'm sure other people have the same question, but you know how people are shy. They don't like to be the center of attention, especially when it comes to something that they don't know, especially when they're adults. So that's the first thing I reflected on when it comes to the UK student quote above. The second thing about Menti platform is the Menti Academy. So the Menti Academy teaches the facilitators or people that want to be facilitators about Mentimeter, but it also has other interesting courses like how to make a message stick in your presentations. As an adult learner preparing for this assignment myself, I had a need for training to address a relevant real world problem, getting a good grade on this assignment, obviously. So Mentimeter fits Malcolm Knowles' related assumption that we always seek, like adults seek out additional training when there's a need that's relevant to their daily life. So this was relevant to my daily life, and I definitely used it before this presentation. I spent about 4 hours in Menti Academy, and it's actually really, really good. So it's good for not just the learner, it's also good for the person that's facilitating the courses. Third use, my third reflection on this is Mentimeter's ranking questions. Allows learners to be self-directed by letting them pick what they want to learn about and when. So I'm going to let us try how that works out with a little kind of scenario here. So pretend you are a budding zookeeper and there are openings from various species and they're enclosements. Tell us which species you want to learn about in ranked order on the next slide. So I'm going to join too. Oh, I got big cats move up a little bit. I have 2 cats at home, just little ones though. but you guys get the idea. So using the rankings, you can actually tell people in your class, these are the different actual chapters that we're going to be working on through. Which ones would you want to learn first? And they can choose their own kind of way to get to the end of the course. It's actually really amazing using the rankings that way. We got a tie though for zebras and big cats. My big cats will take out those zebras, that's for sure. So that's one other way that you can use the ranking application. So I am rating Mentimeter's ability to educate as 3.2 out of 4.0. Consistent findings across multiple papers, journals, reports, and studies indicate that Mentimeter enhances engagement. I'm sure that if I had Mentimeter in my forklift training theory course, that associate would not have fell asleep. So the main opposing comment that I did find, though, in the actual research, because I want to see both sides, is that not having a strong or stable internet connection was a big problem for some areas of the world. We are very lucky to be in Canada. We have more internet connection than most, but even in our rural areas, it doesn't always work. So it's always important to have a secondary plan in case someone's internet's not working, so they can still be included. So there is both sides, but that's kind of a little bit more outside of our breadth of being able to deal with anything about that. That's kind of not what we can do other than have an alternative option for them to be engaged. Even with that, given the experience I've had and seeing the managers from the stores that they come in and do a manager meeting every year, like 200 people, and they're so competitive, I believe that it's still 3.9 out of 4.0 for engagement. And I am going to go overtime. So we're almost there. But hey, evaluating learning. So a few things that are really good for evaluating learning and very popular with it are the interactive slides out of the word clouds. Like I said, good for open answers or reflection answers as well. And more discussion starters. Word clouds are all good for that kind of stuff. The competitive quiz slides, like I said, we're going to try that in a minute right before we do the actual Q&A. And then there's also the anonymous questions factor. And then finally, for feedback for us being like the instructor or facilitator, there is sliders, scale sliders. So I do have a survey at the end that you guys can use that's outside of the time, thank heavens, because I'm going to run out of time, I know. But it's something that you can progress the slides yourself, and you'll see sliders in that as well to evaluate the training that you're going through right now. So that's also a plus. So it will actually evaluate them and also you. So it's 360-degree feedback. So my rating on evaluate learning is going to be 3.6 out of 4.0. So just a quick recap, the report card that I'm giving Mentimeter, and you guys are open to your own opinions. I think 83% for Excite, so B+, 80% for Educate, B, 98% for engage, even with the internet connection thing. And then finally an A- for evaluate, which is 90% that I got for 3.6 divided by 4. So start the quiz. You guys get to try the active quiz. So the right answer gets points. The fastest right answer gets more points. So you'll get between 500 and 1,000 points, depending on how you answer and place in that. There's only 3 questions, so I'll start the quiz now. Are we all ready? Yes, thumbs up. Ready? Perfect. Okay, here we go. You have 15 seconds per question. You all answer, or 6 people answered. I'm the 7th person, I just realized, my bad. Oh, start quiz. Answer fast. Oh, I know. So I don't know if I did that right. I might have gone too fast. I apologize. But what happens is Nicole's the winner for this one. I don't know if it was just one question that you guys got to answer, but really, I was going too fast. I believe that if I put these little score sheets in between, it would have made more sense for us. Typically, when they do the active learning, you get a leaderboard in between each question, but I knew we'd run out of time, so I didn't do that for this one. So I apologize for that. It is usually much better. That is what people love, though. And Nicole, congratulations. You're the winner. So that is just a quick show of what we got. So questions from anyone for this? And you can come off mute and ask questions. Okay, yeah.
I'll just ask you a question off mute just because it'll take too long to type.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, this is like a software where you can actually make the presentation in like a Google Slides or a PowerPoint, right? And then on top of that, this is all kind of built into the program. Is that correct?
So great question. So it can be done 2 ways. Mentimeter can be used as a standalone presentation where you build everything right in the presentation, which is what I did. Or if you have a paid subscription and you get a discount one as an educator, but it's still a monthly payment, then you're allowed to import your PowerPoint slides and then add the interactive slides to them. Right now, I'm using a free account, so I couldn't
just built everything in there.
Yeah, so I just built everything in Mentimeter. Also, it only allows you to have so many interactive slides when you have the free version, but you can link to other like presentations and it resets your count. So basically the survey's got another 5 different interactive questions, but you're only supposed to have up to 5 in one presentation, but you can have unlimited presentations. So it's kind of, okay. Question on the board. I have us in front of the question. I apologize. So I can't see right now, but how long have you used this in your practice? So at work, the learning department has an account. It's used at least, we just used it 2 weeks ago for our HR meeting. We have 96 people in our HR across the entire team for the entire province, and we use it in our meeting for an icebreaker, actually. So it's been about 4 years that we've used it. We don't always use it because there is, again, restrictions when you get to larger amounts of groups and how many facilitators you can have. Everyone always comes and asks us if we can set up like a Mentimeter presentation for that. In about 4 years. Mark has answered. This is the other thing I do like about Mentimeter. When you get questions, because you guys can answer them or ask anywhere, you can mark them as answered, then it will go to the next one. So next question, how long have you used this in practice? I thought that's answered. So next question was what? Question, oh, there's only one right now. So also another good feature, and I think we're running out of time, but we're on the QA, so it's fine. So with the presentation software, what was I gonna say? Questions, please. Oh, you can rate the questions. So if your students have the same question, which in the first place makes them feel better because someone else has the same questions as they do, they can rank it up. So it will go to the top of the list because lots of times you won't get all the questions that you may have in your lecture hall or what have you. So if they have the same question, they would like to rank them, they can rank them up with the little plus sign. Right now, the 2 questions you guys asked don't have any number underneath the little plus hand. But if there was a number, that would actually make a higher priority for the question. So is it always anonymous for all quizzes and questions? If so, how do you evaluate each learner? So they say it's anonymous. It's anonymous for all the people that are actually in the presentation, but you can export all the results to Excel at the end, which is what I can do. And then I actually see who sent in the response and actually even sent in the questions as well. So that is the way that you can evaluate from a instructor perspective, but only the host can do that. And then I can give permission to other people to have access to do that. But right now I'm the only one that can actually see who answered the questions that that were given, sorry, or answered for that matter. Are students able to use? So I hope that answers the question. Are students able to use this to track their progress over time? Good question. I honestly am unsure on that one. I don't want to give the wrong answer. I'd have to get back to you on that thing. So let me look into that and I'll get back to you in the discussion forum. Is that okay? Give me a thumbs up. That's the best I can do for you. So I'll get back to you on that. Is that okay? Hopefully. We are almost at like 30 minutes, so I think that we're going to have to move forwards. Thank you again all for participating. That was awesome. Feel free, if you want to do the actual feedback survey, great. Or if you just want to check it out, you can skip all the questions as well in it. So you can either scan the QR code there, or you can use the Mentimeter code for internet. Other than that, I'll leave this up for a couple of minutes. Any last questions you'd like to ask, or I can't even assume because I'm only able to see one screen. There you go. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for joining. Sorry I talked too much, but yeah, have a great one.
Really good presentation, Dave.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Have a good night.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Night. Nice
Thank
talking
you.
with you
Thanks,
all.
bye.
Take care.
Thank you. This is Dave Clausen from the PIDP 3240 program, which is Media Enhanced Learning.
If you'd like to check out the references I used for this video, you can pause the slide now. They're in front of you. This is the second slide of references that I've used to create the video, so go ahead and pause that again if you like. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate you checking out my videos and watching me progress through the Provincial Instructor Diploma Program at Vancouver Community College. This is Dave, and I'm signing off saying, never stop learning. Have a great one.